But see, I will tell you, for me, the best city in Europe, my favorite one to get around was a city in southern France called Montpellier, where I
Hmm.
was easily able to walk around, take buses, take trams, know the tracks, memorize where things are. But a lot of that was because I was speaking French the whole time. So it's hard to compare. If you don't speak French, I'm not going to tell you to go to France.
Okay.
But you,
Because I do want
but
to see the Eiffel Tower at least once before
well,
I need to surf.
well, you should go. I'm not stopping you.
Definitely.
Go,
Definitely.
go. Just know that if you go, maybe bring someone who speaks French. Maybe try to research if there's someone or a tour guide who would be willing to speak to you in English, because most French people,
Gotcha.
most French people do not speak English at all. Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. It's really quite interesting to be able to speak
Hmm.
French and then go to
It is.
go to go to France or use a second language in another country like that. It's
It's good
very
to learn a sec. It's good to learn a second language,
and how
especially
many and how many languages do you speak?
I speak two languages, English and Spanish.
Great, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought when you mentioned Dominican Republic, I thought so. You've spent a lot of time in the Caribbean. That's a very very beautiful and a very interesting part of the world to live in for sure.
It, it's a living not for a blind person. I don't. It's the streets are not the best.
Well, I
It's
don't.
not the best streets, but it's good to visit. Oh, I love their beaches. Their beaches are amazing. Their food's amazing. The water's amazing.
I see. I
And
see.
of course, the booze are amazing.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, which is not for this podcast, for that's for a whole nother ballgame. Let's not go left on that. But
Oh, well, we might have to have you come back for an episode of, I guess, left field. I guess
oh
we'd have to call the
yes,
episode left field so you can come back and talk about uh talk about booze. I guess booze in the Dominican Republic. I
oh that'll
wonder.
be great.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, I actually volunteered on the island of Saint Lucia many years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay,
Hmm.
how was that for you?
It was really good. It was a really good experience. They have a wonderful blind welfare association there.
Right,
They do have you heard of it?
I have not, but I'm just saying. Right, like yeah, cool. That's why I'm
Cool.
like right,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right. All right.
yeah.
Um, it, so good. Yeah, they do a lot. They do a lot there to help blind people. Other blind people from around the Caribbean come to this particular location on the island of Saint Lucia, which is an independent nation, and it's a very interesting place to live. I think the Caribbean for me is one of my favorite regions. Outside of France, for me it's the Caribbean. I just love that peaceful life. As I say, I'm not a New Yorker. I never grew up in a city, so I'll never pretend to understand a city. We don't miss what we don't have. You know. Now, do you have Dominican heritage?
I do. My family's from DR actually.
Excellent. Okay, cool,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So then, now, what can you tell me about Turks and Caicos? I mean, I've flown over Turks and Caicos. I've never.
I took a cruise to the
Mm-hmm.
islands. We were just at the beach and whatnot. It's really small. It's like Grand Turk, very small island. Not much. They have a lot of animals. They have some shops, but it was very small. I was like, wow, really small island. But it was a good experience, to travel to other parts of the world and good to see. Besides going to your own country, it's good to see other parts of the world. It's good to experience the food, the culture. It's something you live once, so you got to enjoy life. Don't let to my listeners out there. Don't let blindness stopping what you want to do. Because when I was growing up, I wanted to be a braille teacher. When I was growing up, braille teacher, braille teacher, braille teacher, braille teacher, braille
So,
teacher.
so become one. Why didn't you become one? Become one. Why not?
Well, I'm gonna get into this now.
But by the way,
Wait,
you do not need to answer that question. If that brings up something too personal for you, you do not need to answer that if you don't want to. So,
okay. So, which I'm going to redo the piece that I did earlier. I might redo some of it while I'm telling you all this. So be prepared. It's gonna be an earful. So, bro teacher, go through high school,
you have nine and we
bro
have, by
teacher.
the way, we have just, we're coming up on 9 minutes, by the way, about 9 minutes left. All right, go.
Oh no. Okay. So, long story short, wanted to be a bro teacher. When I got to college, I started my freshman year, observed classes my second semester, and I was like, no, not for me. I switched to therapeutic rec, did that for the rest of my career, graduated with a bachelor's in that, did that, and I discovered I had inner talents. So my voice is really, really, really powerful. So I discovered that I've done impressions of people in the past and little things here
Oh,
and there.
well then, okay, go. Tell me who it is, and then go. You're gonna have to give me one really good impression.
Oh boy.
Well, you
Um,
said it.
Wendy Williams. How you doing? It's time for hot topics. Lindsay, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of him. Lindsay Lohan, the Kardashians. What's new with those Kardashians? Clap if you agree that Kanye and Kim should have gotten married. Clap if you didn't agree.
Excellent. Great. Great.
Yeah.
What's
So
another one?
another one. I can't think of. I'm trying to find something familiar that everybody knows. Judge Judy. Well, it's not an answer. It's not an answer. Well, just a second. Shh, shh. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So besides your impressions, what are some other things that you have done with your voice?
Well, ringmastered for the Big Apple Circus.
Okay. Let me hear that line.
It's gonna be low. I'm in my house. It's not gonna be as loud as the video, but ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Big Apple Circus.
All right. And how did you discover that your voice was so powerful and distinctive?
Um, Through practice, through creativity,
Hmm.
and it's just some qualities and some talents you have are natural.
Right.
Some qualities that you have are natural, and there's some hidden talents that you just have to discover on your own. It's something that has to be found by you. You discover them as you go later on in your life. Things start to open, whether it's through your career, through therapeutic rec, through speaking and implementing programs and speaking to residents and standing up there and running a program. It's stuff that starts to click and stuff that starts to, whoa, if I could do this, I can do that. I can go further with this. Like, for example, I'm looking into voiceover and becoming a PA announcer, or who knows, maybe I'll do voiceovers for different commercials. But just to let y'all know, it's not a walk in the park. It's going to take time. These things are going to take time. It's not going to be kapoof overnight. No. You just have to enjoy your ladder, enjoy the ladder you're climbing, whatever project you're doing, enjoy the idea process, enjoy the creativity process, and enjoy that ladder. Because if you rush, it's not, the end product is not going to come out
Right.
as well as you
And the
think.
same is true with podcasting and radio. It took me a very long time to gather up guests to a point where people are
Yeah.
coming to this podcast several times a week. What you have to do at first is you have to talk to yourself. You have to do an enormous amount of monologues where you just talk and
Yes.
talk and talk about issues that concern you. Then what I
Yes.
noticed was over time, more and more people wanted to talk to me. And then what I noticed over time is, oh, I should get back into Spreaker. And then I noticed, oh, they have distribution to Apple. And then here's the turning point. I applied to
Hmm.
Apple and I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought my podcast wouldn't make it, and it did. And then from that point, I thought, well, if this is on Apple, if this is on iHeartRadio, maybe this can help one person. Because if it only helps one person, then it's a success. But know that when you climb a ladder, the ladder always shakes and wobbles a little bit. So that's kind of how life goes. Life is
Yes.
kind of a ladder,
Yes.
shaking and wobbling. I think overall, I'm going to give you my opinion because this is an opinion podcast. It's not a fact podcast. Overall, I'm very impressed. You overcame that. You were quite nervous. I think you had a lot of nerves tonight. I think, and that I think you also have a lot of ideas about certain things that you would like to do for New York and transportation and things like that. Um, I mean, what I really would hope that you would do, or would like you to do, is to, and this is not going to air for a while now. I don't know when this will air, but between now and when it does air, and I'll tell you, what I would like you to do is think about some things that you would like to talk about next time. If we could come back for a left field, because I think you have a lot more. I think you have a lot more material, and I think you have a lot more of a story uh, here, under there somewhere, right?
Yes, a huge story. But all these every that train part, that last part with the mobility, the O&M, which I should have stuck to because I have worked with children, not
No, no.
directly.
Okay, but no, but actually,
Oh,
thank you for doing that. Thank you for being honest, because I
yes,
kind of corrected it, and I
you
kind of
did.
helped you because I realized there was a discrepancy, and instead of lying to me, you told the truth. So I understand that was very frustrating for you at that second, but thank you for telling the truth. Thank you for
Hmm.
clarifying. So the fact that you clarified, it doesn't completely solve the whole thing, and I think you do need to go back on Facebook and just rewrite that post. I think. Um, because I was a little bit confused with it. I wasn't entirely sure of your entire story. Let me put it to you like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Now, what we should have done, I think I
right.
should have spoken to you directly first. That's what we should have done before the podcast.
But that's fine. I wanted it to be a really interesting podcast where we could learn, like, on the
Oh,
moment, learn actively like this.
mm-hmm.
Because I find that the people who want to talk to me and want to drag it out, in general, are the people who don't actually come to the show. And I was more concerned with getting you on and just making a recording. That is far more important. All right, you
Oh,
have it is totally fine because you told the truth. So it's really not the end of the world. You do need to edit this plan, right? We need to work this
yes.
out, but this is something that can be done. All right. Do you have any final messages for people before we sign off? You have 50 seconds.
To all my fellow listeners, make the best of your life. You only live once. Blind, not blind, whatever you may have, life is what you make of it. Reach for the stars, grab the brass ring, and to all my parents of blind children, I'm here for you. I want you to have a resource. Besides the O&M instructors, I want to be a resource to y'all. And I want to help y'all overcome those fears you have with your child traveling independently. I want to start this project as
Ex-
soon as possible,
Excellent.
especially after this quarantine is over.
Very, very good. Thank you so much, listeners from around the world. I'm Aaron Richmond. this is the Aaron's Opinion podcast. Have a